welcome everyone to the Cronos Stream. Right, so very glad to have everyone from the audience and from various speakers across multiple projects here with us today. Right, so just to give an overview of what Cronos Stream about, right? Cronos Stream is a live stream where the Cronos Labs team come forward to give various projects who are building in the Cronos ecosystem, right, a space for them to share their latest updates. Right, so today we are on episode 2 of Cronos Stream. So just to share some slides here, right? So on this slide, you will find 2 QR codes. Right, the top left QR code, you can scan it, and you can then find Cronos YouTube channel. Right, so if you have not subscribed to Cronos YouTube channel or Cronos Chain Twitter account, right, feel free to give us a subscribe or follow. Right, the bottom QR code, you also find a Q&A form, which you can then submit your questions that you have to the speakers today. Right, so once again, Cronos Stream, whatever updates that are shared in this stream are meant to be only informational and not financial advice. Okay, so for today, we have, so firstly, my name is Jay, right? I'm part of Cronos Chain Partnerships team where I work with various projects that are building on the chain, right, with integration and with their growth. Right, and we have 5 speakers with us today. First speaker is Ken Timsit, right, who is the head of Cronos Chain. Second, we have Kit Lau, who is the co-founder of D.G.Pals, right, one of the leading games on Cronos Chain. Right, next, we have Alejandro Raboni, who is head of growth at Transak, one of the leading on and off ramp payments platform in the space today. Right, next we have Hank Wyatt, who is the CEO of CroSwap, right, recently launched AMM on Cronos Chain. Right, and last but not least, Nick can't be with us today, so we have his colleague Don, who is a co-founder of Bubble Maps, right, a visualization analytics platform, which I'll let him share later on. Right, so how this stream will run is that firstly, Ken will be sharing a couple of updates happening in Cronos today, and then we'll have a roundtable session where each project will be given 10 minutes to share some updates that's happening to their projects, and then we will go on to Q&A. All right, so firstly, Cronos updates. I think Ken, right now, a lot of things has happened in the past month, right? And I think there are a couple of things that the Cronos community would like to hear from you. What has happened? Any milestones that Cronos has hit? Right. So recently, Cronos crossed the milestone of 1 million wallets. It's a huge milestone. So maybe any thoughts from you or any regarding this milestone?
Yeah, for sure. So we passed the 1 million mark in terms of total unique wallets a few weeks ago, and we announced it. And I think in the current context, it's great news, and it's glad to see that we're still able to deliver those milestones and keep the community engaged. So it's a great sign that the users are continuing to engage with the chain, and the developers are continuing to build interesting things for them to do on the chain. On average, we've been at 100,000 transactions per day the last few weeks with those 1 million wallets. So it means those are, even though not everyone is active every day, there's still a fairly good level of engagement and repeat usage by those users, and with clearly capacity to sustain much more activity when it comes to the throughput that the chain is able to withstand.
Yeah, I mean, 1 million.
Great to see. And again, last week, so we had the World Cup final, and to me, what was really impressive during the World Cup was to see that the best teams were the teams who never gave up, right? Continued to fight, and were the most persistent, even if they had a couple of challenges during the first half of the match or something like that. And so I think what I've seen is that the Cronos community really displays the same kind of behavior, and they remain resilient, and they continue to have faith in the fact that what we're building is something that is going to welcome the next generation of Web3 users. I was very happy to see that.
Yeah, so like 1 million, it's a really key milestone, right? I think Cronos recently had our 1 year anniversary, and I think nearing that 1 year anniversary, Just Nice also hit the 1 million wallets. So what this means that we have at least 1 million Crow fam who are using the Cronos chain, right? And I think what would be the next goal milestones that you're looking forward to?
So throughout 2023, we're going to continue to monitor the 3 metrics that as a team Cronos Labs is mostly accountable for. So those are number of weekly or monthly users, number of weekly or monthly active users, number of daily transactions, and TVL, of course. And so part of what we're going to do to continue to push those metrics is going to be the continuation of things that we've already initiated in 2022, such as the grant program, the accelerator program, the support that we're giving to projects, and the partnership with Crypto.com. But I think in addition to that, we're going to try and push more in terms of marketing visibility and sharing with users what they can do on the chain. This video stream, which is going to happen every 2 weeks, is part of that. But overall, we have a bunch of exciting projects and ideas to make sure that projects who build on the chain are given as much exposure as possible.
Right. I think this is something that us as Cronos Labs, we try to support projects in terms of providing them with visibility and access to the Crow fam, which is a huge community that's very active and that wants to try out various dApps that are building on the chain. Right? And Cronos Stream has been one initiative, but as a chain itself, we also want to continue helping projects to gain as much traction as possible and through more visibility to them. Right. I think point 2 is something that end users will also be quite keen to hear more. I think not only end users but developers who are building on the chain, right? So what are a couple of pre-release notes regarding version 1.0 Cronos that you can share?
Yeah, so I didn't want to use this session to do a technical presentation at all, but I wanted to make sure that everyone knew that 2 weeks ago, we published a post on Medium announcing the availability of the pre-release for the next upgrade of the chain, which is going to happen in January. So it's the pre-release of version 1.0. And so if you go to Medium /Cronos-chain, which is where we post news about the Cronos ecosystem and the chain, you'll easily find this blog post. And I think there are some really exciting enhancements that we're putting out in January. So the first one, and the most visible one for end users, is going to be the availability of mempool prioritization. So this means that as a user and as a developer, when you submit a transaction, it is stored in a pool where the transactions that have the highest priority fee will be prioritized by validators. So practically, this means that the chain is even more able to withstand peaks in traffic and large volumes. So it contributes to scalability. The second point is about the optimization of node storage and the optimization of node startup time. So those are software enhancements that are mostly visible to people who are running nodes, or running validators, but they definitely contribute to the continued sustainability and reliability of the chain. And they make the life easier for those validators who are essential parts of the sustainability of our ecosystem. And number 3 is that we're introducing a number of upgrades that are part of the Cosmos SDK that pave the way for future Cosmos functionalities, such as interchain security, interchain account, IBC enhancements. And so this is, of course, essential if we consider that the positioning of Cronos, which is the leading EVM chain on top of the Cosmos SDK, is a positioning that aims to take maximum benefit from the best of what the Ethereum and the Cosmos ecosystems have to offer. So if you want to know more, check out the blog post.
Right. Yeah, I think chain infrastructure upgrade is something that it's just something that for us as a chain to continuously improve, right, and also deepening Cronos' presence into Cosmos. It's something that, I mean, Cosmos as an ecosystem which is fast growing and continuously growing, especially in the past year. I'm sure many users would be really looking forward to those releases. Okay, I think moving on from the chain infrastructure, right? Let's go on to applications. Today, once again, we have 4 projects, right?
Sorry, I know we touched briefly on visibility and usability of dApps, but so there's a few more announcements that I wanted to share, and I know we touched on that briefly before, but I just wanted to mention a few more things. So in terms of making Cronos accessible and usable by as many users as possible, there's a few developments that happened in the last few weeks, which are very positive. So first, Ledger Live released Cronos chain support, and roughly at the same time, the Crypto.com DeFi wallet announced that their browser extension is supporting Ledger Nano hardware. So the more wallets are available to users, especially users who are using hardware solutions, and the better, of course, for everyone's security. A few weeks ago, there was also an announcement that Brave, the browser, had started to partner with a few dApps on Cronos. The first dApps that have announced a partnership with Brave browser were dApps incubated by Cronos Labs, but those partnerships are by no means exclusive. So I encourage everyone to reach out to us and through Brave browser in order to be featured in Brave browser communications. And in addition, Alchemy, the provider of chain infrastructure, has recently published a dApp store where they aim to provide enhanced visibility to various blockchain applications. And Cronos is featured there. So if you are a builder on Cronos, you can submit your project. You can click Cronos as the chain, and then the project will be featured as part of other Cronos chains and the broader Web3 ecosystem to reach even more users. And so those are some of the recent announcements that I wanted to share with our users today.
Okay, thanks for sharing. I mean, our end goal is, with a growing amount of CroFam, ultimately, we want our Cronos dApps to share, get as much reach and traction as possible. And it's true, like increasing visibility and usability of Cronos, right? Then we can achieve that goal. All right, thanks so much for sharing the latest Cronos updates. Right, so moving on to the application layer, right? We have 4 projects here with us today: D.G.Pals, Transak, CroSwap, and Bubble Maps. Right. So now let's go into a roundtable where we will give each project a couple of 10 minutes to share some of their key updates. So let's start with D.G.Pals, right? We have Kit. Perhaps, I think, Kit, you already have quite a strong presence on Twitter. Right? I think a lot of CroFam know who you are, and a lot of CroFam should know about D.G.Pals. But for the benefit of those who are first time hearing about D.G.Pals and first time hearing about you, can you give a quick introduction about yourself?
Well, I mean, every time you say that, I still feel like we still have a lot of work to do when it comes to discovery. I think people may have heard of us, but I don't think people really find it easy to dive into the project to figure out what we are trying to do here. So I think effectively we started off as a GameFi project, right? So we wanted to create a fun game that's entertaining, and then it revolves around collectibles. You can see that the D.G.Pals NFTs that we have created are all cards. So I think it really goes all the way back, and it's pixel art, the things that we all love. And I think the whole point of ownership is something that we truly believe will revolutionize the gaming industry. And we have been in the gaming industry for more than 8 years by now. And I think when we come up with this project, I think it gave us a lot of different ideas. I think the last 8 months, it feels like 2 years or 3 years. I think that being said, it has changed the project quite significantly. I think right now, apart from just being a GameFi project, we are going to become a gaming platform where we will onboard even more indie game developers who are interested to build games in the Web3 space. They will come in, they will share our expertise, they will get a benefit from the infrastructure that we have built. And I think the roadmap 2.0 that we just dropped on the 17th of December, just a couple of days ago, which we will repost it in a moment's time, actually highlights quite a little bit of what we are trying to do here. I think end of the day is we started off wanting to build a new gaming experience leveraging on Web3 technology. And I think we never once believed that play to earn is something that's sustainable and whatnot. I think those are the kind of noise that set gaming on Web3 back for quite a bit. But I think moving forward, I think even in the bear market, we believe that the bad actors is starting to move away, and people are starting to see genuine projects that is trying to bring value to the chain. So I think we are very happy and very glad that Crypto.com Capital and Cronos is really supporting the project. And I think we are one of the gaming project that's on Cronos that is funded by multiple VCs at this point. So moving forward, we do have more good news to share with everyone. Just waiting for things to formalize and for the right timing, doing it professionally. So in 2023, I believe we will be making a lot more noise when it comes to growing the community together with Cronos. And I think our cross-chain strategy is going to be beneficial to the chain, because it is not one of those cases where we actually bring players or mint a new collection on a different chain. Actually, we're going to bring people in, and we're going to give them NFTs that actually minted originally on Cronos, and using bridging technology as well as other kinds of infrastructure that we have built to make the whole experience a lot more seamless. So you can come in from Polygon, you can come in from Ethereum, doesn't matter what chain you came from, you will be holding on Cronos NFTs, and then without having to interface with multiple so-called shop interfaces or marketplaces, you can actually still conduct trades with the gaming community within the Digiverse. So I think all in all, we are trying to solve a lot of problems, and I think again it's really, really extensive. It's best to just go into our roadmap 2.0 to just take a look at what we do. I think end of the day is that we want to turn gamers into investors, right? So I think and you can start doing so by actually holding the D.G.Pals NFTs. And in the roadmap itself, it actually lays down exactly how that will work. Because you have to play the games, you have to burn OPL to get DGG, which is our governance token, which we are launching in 2023. And then with that governance token, DGG, you will be able to use it to actually invest into gaming projects that you believed in. Then from there, you'll be able to scrutinize the founders, the game projects, how you will monetize. And once the game goes live and start monetizing, anyone who actually backed that particular project will be able to earn the corresponding revenue split based on your personal investment. So I think this is a way for us to really utilize Web3 technology to enable Web2 builders to create products that is proven to be able to monetize. But I think it is, again, solving multiple problems, right? Not just in the Web3 space. We are also looking at how indies can actually benefit from this particular system of funding, because we have a lot of game studios who struggle to get that initial seed funding to come up with good ideas. And more often than not, when they do come up with a great idea, it's often gets stolen very quickly by very big companies who has 10 times or 20 times the developmental budget. So in our other AMAs, we actually share a lot of examples as such. You can go and take a look at what kind of revenue these indie studios are generating, and when the big guys actually took the mechanic and then reskin it with their IPs or with their own development capabilities, you start to see that they're generating 300 30,000% of the revenue that the indie studios can actually generate. So I think what we are trying to do here is to empower the studios by leveraging on the Web3 gaming investors, and then from there, splitting the revenue with them. So I think that's essentially what we're trying to do here. A bit, again, evolved from starting as a gaming project to becoming a gaming platform that enables enable indie studios, and also empowering Web3 gamers and investors.
Right. That's quite an interesting pivot that you guys did, going one level down actually, right, to be the platform for gaming applications to build. Right, and I'm quite curious, like, so right now we see that there are time and time again a lot of new Cronos users, or a lot of new users coming into Cronos chain, right? And I think each user has limited attention, right? But there are a growing number of games on the chain, right? So why should the user check out D.G.Pals? What is there for a user to do?
I think we are one of those projects that is founded to be on solid foundation. So what we have done before, we actually have run multiple studios. We have actually run incubators, in fact, for the last 3 years. So our gaming studio is generating healthy revenue. Then our incubators, we have incubated more than 18 games with some level of success. So effectively, what we are doing is we actually bring all of this expertise that we have had into this Web3. So we didn't start from ground zero, right? We have built games that can monetize, and we have incubated other startup teams to have their games monetized, right? So I think with this kind of confidence, we can actually start to say, whoever that is really struggling in the Web2 space, or struggling with maybe the initial seed fund, and are capable game developers, with our help, with our mentorship, with our guidance, as well as leveraging our infrastructure, they should be able to see some kind of a success. So I think when you look at mobile gaming space, I know the last few months and throughout COVID, it has been rough on the general market and industry. And the thing is, gaming is proven to be pandemic proof as well as recession proof to a certain extent. If you look at the trajectory of the revenue that's coming in and the Web2 space, the gaming, specifically mobile space, it has still been like, on an upward trend, right? So I think effectively what we are trying to say is that, again, we are bringing revenue from a proven and stable industry into Web3, right? So I think this is where sustainability is very important, because more often than not, the gaming projects that is in the Web3 space right now is not sustainable because it is built on a model where everything is on a bullish upward trend, right? Whereas what we are doing is we are building a business model that leverages on a different industry that is proven to be rather stable and is proven to be generating healthy revenue, and then streaming it, or rather create that enable layer so that it can stream it back to the Web3 investors.
Okay. Would you say your current user base has, like, what's the proportion of like Web3 native users versus maybe like someone who's like Web 2.5? Do you have such an insight right now?
I wouldn't say I have like very definitive insight. I would love to be able to figure that out. Maybe I'll do a poll with the community very soon.
Okay, I mean that will be interesting to see, right? Because I think CroFam, a lot of users in CroFam, they might be fairly new to Web3, and I think if they've chanced upon D.G.Pals in their first game, that would be quite an interesting experience. I think a follow-on to that question, right? For someone who is very new to blockchain gaming, or very new to your like D.G.Pals, right? What would be some risks, or like some things that they should be aware about when they are, let's say, they first explore D.G.Pals?
Wow. When they first explore D.G.Pals, I think when you talk about risk, I think it's just about really doing your own research. I think it's important to join the community, go and talk to as many people as possible. I think D.G.Pals has one of the most welcoming and fun and engaging community that on Discord. So the moment you come in, I believe you should be able to get a lot of your questions answered. At the same time, I think we have a team of ambassadors who are really holding D.G.Pals as their first NFTs in the Web3 space. So I think with that, I think they will be able to share a lot of their expertise, their learnings, and also their findings on how to best manage their assets, or how to navigate around the space where information about the games can be very all over the place. Like we have the website, we have the white paper, then we actually have that secondary marketplaces to look at different things here and there. Yeah, so I think the whole journey is still not very smooth for people who are looking for a easy way to understand the project. So again, talking to people, interacting with the community is probably the best and easiest way to come into the project.
Got it. Yeah, and I'll say like the D.G.Pals community, there are quite a lot of very helpful members. I've been in your Discord, so for those who wants to find out more about D.G.Pals, right, give them a follow on Twitter and check their Discord out. Always do your own research before diving deep into something. Any final words from you, Kit, before we move on to Alejandro from Transak?
Yeah, so I believe next year onwards we will be bringing in even more gaming projects under our wings into Cronos. So I hope that we can actually work with even more project owners in this space, because I think it's not just about creating a game. From the tokenomics, from the game launch, I think things like launch pads, things like having staking utilities, DeFi protocols and functions. I think these are some of the things that we know is important. I think we also think that it will benefit other projects as well. And I think it's just about creating more value by working with other projects, right? So I think this is the part where we can actually build up a stronger ecosystem, because I think there's going to be a little bit of validation across the different projects that further enhances that what's the word, like trust, right? So I think this is something that you seldom see in the other chains. I think Cronos is built very differently, and I do hope that all the different verticals in the Cronos space can actually come together, vouch for one another, create values, and then so that when people come in to invest into the projects, they can feel rest assured, because they know that all these projects are interlinked to a certain extent, right? So I think with that, I think it also makes us a little bit more economically spending our resources in building something that we are truly specializing in, rather than spreading ourselves thin trying to solve every problem that everyone is also solving on their own. Yeah.
All right. Thanks for sharing. Yeah, I mean, how composable projects can be. I think that's something that allows for a lot of collaboration, not only within like the gaming vertical, but gaming with the DeFi vertical as well. Okay, thanks for sharing about the latest updates about D.G.Pals. So let's move on to Transak. Alejandro, maybe you want to give a quick introduction about yourself, about Transak, for people who first time hearing about you guys.
Sure. Thanks for having me. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah. So
Awesome. Yeah, thanks for having me on this space. So I'm Alessandro, and I'm leading growth and business development for Transak. So for those of you that are not familiar with it, basically Transact is trying to solve the onboarding problem in Web3. So the biggest, I think hurdle and the biggest challenge for growth in the Web3 ecosystem is accessibility, right? So that's one of the biggest challenges that we have. We're always thinking how we can, onboard the next billion users, and how do we make it easy for people to understand, difficult concepts such as, private keys and managing funds, and, all of the different hops they have to take, let's say, to create a wallet and fund it. And so what Transact does is essentially where we were born as a fiat on and off ramp. So essentially we empower applications and decentralized applications to easily onboard their users by integrating our payment rails that are global. And today they're also available on Cronos. So essentially we have built this widget that looks like a little bit like PayPal, or like some of the competitors we have, like you might be familiar with MoonPay or Ramp Network. It's essentially a widget you can integrate in your wallet or in your applications, and then your users can easily exchange their euro, US dollars, Australian dollars, Indian rupees, in more than 130 countries for their assets of choice. So let's say I'm using a wallet on Cronos. I can easily buy CRO using my euro with Apple Pay in the US, or using like Cash App and Venmo that we recently released, or you could also use UPI in India, right? So our approach is to integrate several payment methods across the world. So not just credit cards and bank transfers, but also like digital wallets that are like very, very popular today. And yeah, we aggregate all of this payment. We put together like all of the compliance that is required to operate a global business, and we repackage this into an API or widget that you can easily add to your dApp. And as a consumer, you can easily use it to, fund your wallet or use your favorite dApp without, having to trust a centralized exchange, for example, with your asset. Because while we are obviously centralized in our operations, we are still non-custodial, right? So what does it mean is you will get your fiat as soon as the fiat that we receive hits our accounts. We instantly deliver the crypto asset. So we never custody the funds of the users, and so we encourage, obviously self custody, um, and um, and yeah. So this is our primary mission. Recently, we have been expanding our scope. So we are building products and partnerships to basically expand our offering into the onboarding stack. So what we want to do is not only give you payments, but also give you the ability to create wallets for your users, do meta transactions, do the other side, so like do off ramp, so not only buying but also selling your CRO back to us and get fiat instantly to your bank account. So we are trying to create an onboarding toolkit that covers the entire flow for a developer. So let's say you're building a game on Cronos, we'll provide you with wallets that are easily created with Gmail or like Facebook with one click, and then payments that are equally easier, as well as other products that we're developing like Transak One that allows to go from fiat to smart contracts. So unlocks like more use cases like going from fiat to a liquidity pool or going from fiat to an NFT, and more like you know standards that um, we'll see like being developed in the blockchain ecosystem. And yeah, so that's what we're building. And one of the partnership we recently announced was with Byconomy. So they are helping us for the wallet onboarding part. They're also helping us for meta transactions, and we have closed this partnership to provide smart contract wallets to any developer, and to in order to achieve like some of the use cases are I mentioned, but many more. So if you're building a game, or you're building a wallet, or you're building like an NFT marketplace, and anything you're trying to build will probably need something that caters to a mainstream audience, and we hope to be the player that can help you out doing that.
Right. I mean, thanks for that quick overview of Transak. I think the on-ramp I think is like one of the most important entry, right, for someone who's new to this space to want to convert their fiat into into cryptocurrencies, and I think that's where you guys come in really strong, right? So you guys have been supporting Cronos since the past since October, am I right? Where you first integrated your on ramps.
Yeah, we did integrate Kronos natively. So we have the ability, I think now we're just listing CRO, but we can list potentially any asset. So that's one of the advantages here. And yes, like now I think it's available everywhere. We just got the approval from compliance actually to list in the US. So also US users will be able to buy CRO using our service.
Hmm.
And now we are working with our wallet partners to roll it out across these different apps. So we work with MetaMask, Coinbase Wallet, Ledger, Cross Wallet. So like we work with the major wallets, and like we wanna obviously offer CRO as part of the currencies you can buy, and this will make it easier not just to access maybe from the crypto.com app, which I think has been obviously the fiat on ramp of choice for many Kronos users. So we'll give like an alternative to these users that maybe discover Kronos without passing through crypto.com account. So we'll be one of the players supporting that onboarding.
Right. So right now, if you are a CroFam, or if you're a user, right, hearing into this stream and you might not have any access on the chain, right? So I think Transak, it's one of the options where you can on-ramp your fiat without a centralized exchange or centralized intermediary, like other exchanges, right, to on-ramp fiat into various assets on Cronos, right? And you can do that using your debit or credit card, using some digital wallet supported by Transak, also through like wire transfers. Yeah, so I think you have given a very detailed overview of Transak. Any other things that you wanted to share with the audience today, Alessandro?
No, I think just in general, obviously it's been really bad what happened with FTX and a lot of these rumors going around. I think, in my view, there will always be a space, for centralized exchanges and centralized platforms in general. But I think if there is one thing that is, there is one silver lining of this is probably be that people will become more familiar with self custody, which is something we encourage, and it's something that I mean, I think crypto and blockchain has always been about freeing up ourselves from intermediaries. So while Transact is an intermediary, we do support this self custody movement and obviously being in control of your assets at all time. So yeah, I'm in general, I just wanted to share my thoughts that there is a positive impact that we are seeing on more and more people approaching this concept and getting familiar with it. So we are excited for people to become more aware and being more in control of their finances.
Cool. Right, thanks for sharing. I think if you are a user, first time hearing about Transak, right, hit to their Twitter, their website, right, to find out more about them, or just put on your MetaMask. Transak is natively, you guys are natively integrated with MetaMask, and then you can buy, on-ramp your fiat into crypto via Transak directly.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, thanks for sharing. Let's move on to CroSwap. Hank, how are you doing today?
Good. How are you, Jay?
Good. Right, CroSwap, you guys were, I think very up and coming. That you started to get a lot of traction, especially in the past quarter, right? Maybe share a bit more about firstly yourself and CroSwap for someone who is not too familiar with you guys.
Yeah. My name's Hank. I'm one of the founders of CroSwap. Our flagship product is a decentralized exchange. Right now, we support the Cronos network. We actually built our exchange using EIP 2535, which is the diamond standard by Nick Mudge. So we're actually able to fully upgrade every component of the DEX seamlessly without users having to do migrations or anything else. So I think that's one of the main aspects that set us aside from our competitors. We did not fork PancakeSwap or anything like that. We actually built all of our platform and designed it seamlessly for the Cronos network, as well as different chains. CroSwap's vision is to become the most user-friendly DeFi platform in terms of approaching, a simple, engaging UI UX. We have our own design team. All of our development is in-house, and we do everything with highly efficient and technologically innovative development behind the scenes. We just recently finished building our own analytics platform. We built all of our own infrastructure. We've built all of our own deployments and everything else. So, everything is just built so that we know every aspect of our code. We can go do anything required pretty much forever. So we also provide a highly efficient load balanced public RPC. Since the inception of our RPC server, we've served over 3 billion requests to users on the Cronos chain. And we've got over a dozen popular dApps that are using our RPC as well. So we're trying to help the Cronos ecosystem, whenever the main EVM RPC is bogged down, we try to facilitate transactions using our RPC as well. Our current core products, obviously, is our swap. We just released a upgrade to our time-locked yield farms. We've got pools, NFT staking, and several different utility NFT collections throughout our ecosystem. One of those NFT collection, Crode, is actually the largest NFT collection on Cronos. We've got over 115,000 NFTs in that collection so far. Our roadmap currently includes a NFT marketplace where we're looking to basically reinvent how NFT marketplace they work right now. We have a couple pending patents that we've already submitted to the US Patent Office for how we're going to be doing this. We've also got pending patents for how we're going to be going cross-chain so that we don't have to have some of the issues that other projects have had in the past. The main premise of when we support different networks is to bring liquidity into Cronos. Our end goal is to always build up the Cronos ecosystem, onboard users who may not know about Cronos from these different chains into the ecosystem so that we can continuously build for years to come. Additionally, in our roadmap, we're going to be doing KYC services next year. We have a cross-chain launchpad service that we're going to be integrating. We're building out our own decentralized perpetual platform into CroSwap. You won't have to go to a different link. It'll all just be built together. And then several more different things that we just created a 2022 wrap-up on our Medium. So if you go to the CroSwap Medium, you'll be able to see a detailed list of our achievements and outlined plans for 2023.
Okay, very detailed introduction. So CroSwap, your bread and butter, it's essentially your decentralized exchange right now.
Yes.
This vertical, or this space for decentralized exchange, is hyper competitive, right? On Cronos, right? You have VVS, MMF, Cronos Swap, Codex, right? And if a user were to come to the chain and they see like so many decentralized exchanges, what features of CroSwap would be something that will attract them over, right, the other dexes?
Yeah, so like I mentioned in the very beginning, we built our exchange using the Diamond standard, EIP 2535. That allows us to be, just in general, our DEX is much more gas optimized than any other competitor out there, not just on Cronos, but in general, we're competing with Uniswap in terms of technological performance. On average, our DEX operates 5 times faster than the leading competitor on the chain because we have our own internal networks. We built all the infrastructure in the premise of being fully optimized. That's one of our main focuses when we're doing development, is we want to be highly functional, efficient, user-friendly. That's like the main three categories that we go for. We've also built the project up organically. We are committed to building up the confidence for our users, not only just that we have right now, but in general. We've built a ton of different features and are currently still building more features so that onboarding and growth is as simple and efficient as possible, not only for users, but as projects as well. One of the big aspects of 2023, once we have all these different products out, the NFT marketplace, the launch pads, everything else that's in our roadmap, we're building out project administration tools into the DEX as well. So the projects will still be in full control of all of their assets. They'll be control of all of the information around their token. They'll be able to edit their own stuff so that, when projects are interacting with their DEX, they're fully in charge. When users interact with our DEX or any of our products, everything is fully decentralized. They own it. It's self-custody. It's trustless. That is the main premise of what we're trying to build. We believe that our platform is one of the most future-proof on the chain. By capitalizing the Diamond Standard, we don't have to inconvenience anybody with migrations. We've seamlessly updated our platform 4 times now and had no downtime, no user impact. We've just kept a focus on the technological forefront of what can be and what we think in this high-paced environment that a DEX should be. So in terms of CroSwap, we're really just trying to set the standard of what development processes should look like.
Okay, I mean, there's an interesting EIP that you guys are building on, right? There are a lot of DEXs. We have seen it modifying what Uniswap and PancakeSwap has done, but it's interesting to hear that you guys are going on an alternate route. Maybe let's share some key risks, right? Because Cronos within the Cro fam, a lot of users might not be too familiar with the risks involved when it comes to using a decentralized exchange, right? And you can share a couple of risks that a new user to this space should know about when using CroSwap.
So I think a DEX as a whole is a different kind of product comparison to a single project, right? There's a lot of different moving parts. There's a lot of high level of information that is required from users. You got to connect your wallet, then you got to go pick a token. You got to be able to, or if if your project isn't whitelisted on the DEX, you got to input the contract address, then you got to swap, then hope that you did it right? So that's one of the things that really can make users feel overwhelmed at first and allow for user error. With our project, we're trying to bridge that gap for users by making our platform, as easy as possible to navigate and understand. Right now, with our DEX, if you join our Discord, you can interact with the community, kind of offset that aspect. We have a full-time moderator team that helps educate people just in a social aspect. But one of the things that we realized, and we were all investors and builders before CroSwap, and we wanted to really kind of take that aspect of, DEXs can have issues, people can make mistakes. So we're actually building in, as part of our roadmap in 2023, a educational interactive HUD over top of our DEX. So when you go to make your first transaction, we actually have a wizard that will walk you through how to do it. You can ask it questions. You can click little help buttons. It'll explain what's going on every step of the way, as well as with all of our peripheral products such as farms, pools, etc. So you'll actually be able to walk through and it'll teach you step by step what's going on to try to avoid some of those risks that you would see on other platforms. I think one of the major aspects to mention as well is, DEXs attract illicit and nefarious actors all the time. People looking to take advantage of new users and really just taking advantage of them not understanding how DeFi works yet and things like that. So new users really need to be aware of some of the phishing and scam attempts that go on. Make sure you're on the right URL. Make sure you're not connecting your wallet to something that you've never used before. You don't know what it is without doing any research. Those are the major security concerns that come along with what we're doing. Is we're just trying to educate people as much as possible so that they keep security as their number one premise. So
Okay. Right. Yeah, thanks for laying that out. So before I move on to Bubble Maps, any final words that you want to say? Do you want to share about CroSwap to the users?
Yeah, one, I just wanted to thank you guys for having us on. It's a huge pleasure. We love the network. We love everything you guys are building. Ken, we're looking forward to the Gravity Bridge. All right. So yeah, it's great to be here. If anybody has any questions, we're always online. We love to answer questions, and Kit, Transak. We love to do partnership opportunities. So if you guys anybody on the chain, we would love to interact with different CroFam projects or just CroFam users and try to build the chain as much as possible.
All right. Right. Thanks for sharing. Okay. So lastly, we have Don from Bubble Maps. So Don, how are you doing?
Friend, it's an absolute pleasure to be here. Thank you so much for having me. Nick was supposed to make it originally, but I'm replacing him. Building on Cronos, man, it's been an absolute dream. Absolute dream. Working with you guys has been awesome, and we've never seen this level of support. So if any projects out there that want to build on Crow, get involved. Get involved. Talk to the right guys because they've been super, super supportive. Pleasure to be here.
Right. Thanks for the shout out. It's been a great time working with you guys since the accelerator program, right? So Bubble Maps, our first interaction with Bubble Maps was through the Cronos Accelerator program. We started in July this year, and they were one of the 9 projects in the accelerator cohort, right? And I think I want to change this up a bit, right? Because Bubble Maps, it's a visualization analytics platform, right? So it might be easier for you to share about Bubble Maps by sharing your screen, right, to the listeners in this live stream, by giving a live example of what Bubble Maps is capable of. So maybe do you want to share your screen right now, Don?
Absolutely, I think that'd be a great idea. Let me load up the site. Hopefully my internet allows it. Let's see.
Yeah, because I'll stop sharing my screen and I'll let you click over.
Amazing. Let's give it a go. Share screen.
Okay.
All right. Are we live?
Yes. Okay. Maybe just give a quick 1-minute intro, Bubble Maps, and then do your magic. Yeah. Yeah, we are
absolutely, my friend, absolutely. So with Bubble Maps, we're trying to solve the problem of with Bubble Maps, we're trying to solve the problem of forums haven't changed much since our inception, and with recent activities, with FTX and with a lot of eyes on crypto, there needs to be an easier, simpler way of examining tokens and projects like never before. I'd like to begin with a token on the Cronos ecosystem, just a random one here on the home page. Not endorsing anything, just explaining. basically, what we're trying to achieve here is we want transparency, and we want to showcase connections between holders. So it's taking a little while to load. My apologies.
Yeah. So, I mean, for those who are waiting on what's supposed to happen, I think a beautiful bubble chart is supposed to appear in the screen once this loads. So, yeah, let's see. We have the pleasure of seeing that today.
Oh, hello everyone. Sorry about that. Are you still there?
Yes.
My apologies. Just I wanted to switch over to a better internet connection. Here we can actually load up a bubble map and I can explain it. So sorry for that brief interruption there. Bubble maps actually highlights all of the wallets as all of the holders of any token of the project as bubbles on the screen. And if there's been a transfer, so if there's been a transfer of Crow, for an example, then those wallets will be linked together. And why is that important? Because it's visualizing the blockchain, and it's changing the way you think, and changing the dynamic of a standardized blockchain explorer. So what we're looking at here, of course, then is the top holders, and the holder list is here. And we have some connections happening, which you can then examine and see what's going on. So for this particular connection, it's the network security and maintenance. So it's connected to another holder, and it's connected to the community market makers incentive. So those are two those are two team wallets, if you will, connected together, so you quickly and easily see what's going on, kind of thing. And here we have a cluster here with like a CDC withdrawal, it says there, and you can see exactly who's interacted with it, how much they've sent across, and all of that good stuff. Now, you can also check out the historical data too. So the historical data will tell you how the top holders have changed over time, because what if you're investing into a project where a VC has sold early, or if the top team have sold or anything like that, you can compare and examine and see how it's moved and changed. Because look, we see a wallet here, and then 6 weeks ago it disappeared. Now it does need further investigation, and there's probably a reason for that specific action. But about highlighting it is a really good thing to kind of really understand what you're going for and what you're looking at. There are some use cases which are really cool. I'll have to explore them on other blockchains. I do apologize, because obviously Cronos is the best and they don't have many bad bubble maps. But this one here is really beautiful. So this was a failed NFT launch, and it didn't do very well because it was heavily botted. So one of the investors deployed a smart contract, right, to try to get as many NFTs as possible, and they succeeded. They got around 38% here, and to do so, they sent gas fee to a number of different wallets to then buy those NFTs. They successfully did that, and we can see that here. So they sent it outwards, and then the remainder that was left over, when they had bought the NFT, they had just sent back. Now this is really uncommon to see this kind of behavior. Like, why would a wallet like this send gas to a number of things? So straight away we knew it was a botted NFT launch, and it took the team weeks to understand what had happened, because the team are using the scan for this blockchain. And it just got too messy, and they couldn't explain to their community well enough. But by taking the data and reforming it, you can then see exactly what's going on. So this is a sign of a failed NFT launch, and of course there's another use case as well, which I have to share. Like this cluster here is absolutely terrible. Now this doesn't fit like a normal working tokens cluster. It's not a private sale. It's not a pre-sale cluster. It's not a marketing wallet. It's nothing like that. It just doesn't. It's too messy. And what once was a 0.1% wallet is now a 25% wallet, because the transfers of this blockchain are quite high between the wallets, and it looks like it belongs to the same person. So it is indeed a sign of wallet splitting. So one user owning multiple wallets, so they're splitting the amount that they own. And what backed this up after we put a warning was the team actually sold through all of these wallets, netting a profit of $400,000. So we managed to sort of showcase an unsavory project before it did any malicious activity. But this was its plan all along, to get as many buyers in as possible and then sell from its 25% or its large portion that it tried to hide. So basically, there is no hiding anymore. So it's about really pushing transparency, just making sure users are aware of any transfers that have taken place between the top holders of any token. So if you've got an investment out there, if you want to keep yourself safe, use bubble maps, use the historical data to determine, to research. It's fun, it's interactive. You could also check out the USDC transfers, of course, and the native token mode as well to check out the distribution via it be a private sale, a pre-sale, that kind of thing. What wallets are active, which wallets aren't, and all of that good stuff. But yes, I guess that's bubble maps here in a nutshell.
All right, very nice demo, and I think we saw a couple of very interesting token artworks just now, especially the one that you shared from, was it AVEX?
Yes.
They look really interesting. Yeah, so there are a lot of tools on chain, right? Someone like, I think the most prominent one is like the Explorer, Cronos Scan. But users that might be very new to querying or like using Cronos Scan to track transactions, there are like easier tools or more visualization tools like bubble maps that you as an end user, you can use this tool to investigate projects that you are investing in, or you hold their tokens or their NFTs in, right? And that is a very interesting experience that you can do as part of your research, right? So just very curious, like if I'm a user of bubble maps, what new product features that are you guys exploring, right? I mean, you guys have done really well in terms of doing visualizations for ERC20 tokens, for NFTs. What features are you guys exploring next?
That's a great question. So what we're looking at is actually further developing historical bubble maps and showcasing, and you can explore deeper comparison. And also on top of that, we want to look into this brand new incentive called smart reporting, where token owners and creators can sign into their bubble map and almost change or label or explore and really make it interactive for token creators as well on their side. So kind of like a more advanced way, I guess, of explaining things. Also, like, we've got a few other things, of course, but I can't really share them just yet. I'll get in trouble with Mr. Nick.
All right, no, I think you hit the mute button.
Oh, sorry. But yes, so a further development within historical bubble maps, and of course the user interface we really want to kind of enhance, because I think there's a level of ambiguity when it comes to cluster or when it comes to different transfers. So we want to make it clearer for the user, because I think it's like only 10% of DeFi traders actually use on-chain analytical tools. So we want to really make that number higher. And to do so, we just want to make it as easy and seamless as possible. So enhancing the user interface, onboarding more users, onboarding more tokens, projects, blockchains, and just growing as far as wide as we can with this. And when we try our best to overtake these explorers, which are amazing, of course, in their own right. But we want to reimagine it, and we really want to push that.
Right, so definitely looking forward to seeing bubble maps being integrated across more applications as well. I think that's what you guys have been doing, and I'm looking forward to that. So thanks for sharing. So giving an overview about bubble maps and showcasing the demo. The users who first heard about bubble maps, right, do check them out on Twitter and go to their website. You can play around with the tokens that you want to find out more. Okay. So we have come to the end of the second episode of Cronos Stream, Right, so thank you everyone for streaming, for attending this live stream on Twitter and on YouTube, and thanks so much to all the speakers today: Hank, Kit, Don, Ken, and Alessandro, who had to leave for another call. Right, for taking the time out from your busy schedules and coming onto this live stream to share more to the Crow fam and to the Cronos user base. All right, so looking forward to continuously working with you guys to expand your outreach on the chain. And for those who are streaming in this time, right, do look forward to the next episode. We run the Cronos stream every 2 weeks, if we can, and the next episode will most likely be in the first or second week of 2023. All right, so thanks everyone for tuning in today. And no matter which part of the world you are, right, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Right. Cheers, guys.
Thanks for having us, Jay.
Bye.
Yeah, thank you.